Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Welcome to Wellness Tuesday with my good friend Narek over here in Dubai. I'm here in Jersey. How you doing? Okay, so we have two topics that I want to talk about. And Narek, you were so great the first time. I said you got to have her on twice. So you're back. You've earned your wings. And the two topics I want to talk about is, because you're in Dubai and I'm in America, New Jersey. How does Dubai view mental wellness and mental health versus how we see it in America? Is there a difference? It's not a difference because years ago it was like, oh, you're crazy. Now we know mental health's important, and when I say mental health, it could be anxiety, it could be stress, which I suffer from both. And so, but years ago we would never talk about that. Now it's more accepting. People talk about it, but I wonder how other parts of the world see it. So we'll talk about that. Second thing is, I was watching the U.S. Open a couple days ago. And some 19-year-old won the U.S. Open. So I was like, oh, wow, what a great accomplishment for a young man, whatever, young women who win. And I was like, I wonder, we look at these athletes and these actors who win Oscars, and those are great accomplishments. But I said to myself, you know what? All of us have accomplishments, though, that are our U.S. Open, that are our Oscar for us. So what are some of the things that you or me or whoever, we all have accomplishments that we can be proud of? And it doesn't have to be, I'm a billionaire. It doesn't have to be, I went to Harvard. It could be, whatever. I raised a child, or I, opened up a small donut stand, or I lost 50 pounds, I gained 50 pounds, whatever. So we're going to talk about what's one of your accomplishments that you like and you're proud of, what's one of mine in my life. Okay, so let's go to the mental, whoa, my backdrop. Okay. I'm professional. It's YouTube, folks. What do you want? Okay. Oh, shucks. All right. I'm showing you a little. Yeah.
Right. Where we left off.
Yeah, right where we left off. This has happened before, but not that many times. All right. They'd be like, yo, I would have watched that show, but that guy sucks, man. His backdrop fell. All right. So we're talking about, I like to say mind health because everybody now, I feel like I'm like getting shoal like James Brown here. All right. So we talk about, I like to say mind health because if you say mental, it's a non-starter. Everyone's like, mental. I say it, if you have a brain, you have a mind. If you have a mind, at some point in your life, you're going to have stress, anxiety. Well, guess what? That's mental health. And it's important, I think, to talk to a friend, a priest, a rabbi, an imam, a counselor, a life coach, a therapist, a psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever. So in America, it's much more accepted to talk about it. How is it in Dubai? Do they have like television ads or radio ads or billboards? Like in America now, they have dial 988 in New York, especially for any kind of mental health. So if you're feeling down or depressed or God forbid suicidal, you could pick up 988, boom, right away. You speak to a professional counselor, and that's awesome. So talk to me about Dubai. Like, how does Dubai have? Would they talk about it? Is it accepted? Is it mum?
Yeah, so here in Dubai, I haven't come across any ads or advertising or anything like that when it comes to mental health. In the terms of like, hey, if you need someone to talk to, call 1-800, whatever. So I haven't really come across any of that. But mental health here, it's like a huge thing. There's a lot of yoga studios in Dubai. There's a lot of gyms that have multiple yoga classes a day. There's sound healing, there's gong meditation, there's Reiki healing. There's different types of meditations and healing centers here. I know in the US, it's more like mental health, like go to a psychiatrist, get some Xanax, and like you're going to be better again.
Right.
Here, getting prescription drugs, number one, is like very difficult, especially when it comes to psychological mental drugs.
The antipsychotics,
There you go, antipsychotics, sorry. So it's very difficult to get them.
Which is a good thing. I would make the argument because I'm not against pills and medications, but I think Americans way too quickly get on pills, like way too quickly. And doctors are more than happy, really quick. Yeah, pill for anything and everything, really. And I'm not saying don't take pills, but we're quick. I mean, it's just boom, take a pill.
Yeah, so here, it's not really that common. So a lot more doctors will prescribe more like herbal supplements, more supplements that your body does your body produces. So for example, I suffer from anxiety. So I do take like an ashwagandha supplement and also an L-theanine supplement, a combination of it. And that I feel like definitely helps my anxiety a lot more than taking any other prescription drugs. There's also other things that you can do in terms of yoga, meditations, different types of healings. So I think it's like a very, very big thing here. And I know like even a lot of my close friends in my circle of friends, a lot of them do go to, you know, spiritual healers and gurus and things of that sort as well too, to kind of have somebody to talk to.
Yeah, you're hitting on the head actually. And by the way, me too. I don't like to say the word suffer, but I struggle or I manage also anxiety like you. So it's funny. Like, you ever see the movie Step Brothers? You never seen it?
Yeah, I have.
There's
Yeah.
a moment they're like, "What? Did we just become best friends?" Like, because I'm like, "Wait, I suffer from anxiety too." Anyways, but yeah, but to your point, and you know, people were quick to tell me, "I just go on this pill, that pill." I'm like, hold on. Let me look at my life. And you know, one of the big things I was doing was drinking 6 cups of coffee a day. I mean, gigantic, and that caffeine was, I mean, like rigging me. I mean, it was making me. I'm already a high strung person, and I got off the coffee and I started to do yoga and I started to just you know, manage it more holistically because I didn't want to go on meds. You know, I was like, listen, I'm all for meds if that's the last ditch effort, but let me try, let me see, you know. And sure enough, boom, I'm managing it perfectly. You know, I've got it under control 99% of the time, my anxiety and stress. And Eric, to the point where it sent me to the hospital. Like, that's how bad it was. I thought I was having a heart attack. Like, I was in the ambulance from anxiety, you know, because I'm not managing it. And people can, you know, I don't know about you, but there are some people, it's usually guys, us tough guys, and they'll be like, "Oh, shut up! What are you anxious about? You're not in some war. Hey, you weren't in World War II." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I wasn't in World War II, so I'm not allowed to have anxiety." You know, it's like anxiety is relative to the person at the time and the place and the time in your life when you have it. And I don't think we should poo-poo somebody. And what's stressful for me might not be stressful for Narek, or vice versa. So, but I think we're starting to learn that as a society here in America, where it's okay to have a personal day, or to go see the psychologist, or to go to yoga, you know, things like that. So that's awesome that, like you too, I was like, nah. And I also take a lot of herbal, certain types of, what do you call it? I guess, yeah, like ashwagandha or in my tea or something like that, to kind of just, every little bit helps, you know? So trying to get negative people out of my life. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think more often than not, that's what you need, not another psychotic pill that has side effects, that ruins your liver, your spleen. It can make you suicidal, you know, so raises cancer risk, heart risk, disease risk. So again, I think we should take the pharmaceuticals very, very seriously. It's not candy. All right, so that's cool that you did that. So let me ask you this, though. I think, again, every country has obviously stress, anxiety, and mental health, but correct me if I'm wrong, maybe Dubai has less per capita, per square mile, of stress and anxiety and mental health problems, because I'm also a firm believer of community and family. I wonder, is the divorce rate less? I'm sure, right? Less in Dubai than America?
So, yeah, I mean, it is.
America's 51%.
Yes, I know. It's crazy.
So Dubai is less than that, right?
I think it's not only about like divorce rate. I think it's a different type of stress here. Like the stress that I had in New York City is very different than the stress I had here.
Right.
I think a lot of the stress that, you know, you have here is people, you know, everybody comes from different cultures. So it's a stress of getting acclimated to a new culture, a new place. It's a stress of, or it's a loneliness sometimes, like the stress of being lonely.
That's America's number one
problem. That's a huge stress factor that I had to deal with.
Right. But the reason why I say divorce is not that divorce is the only thing, but I think the divorce is a canary in a cave, meaning like cultures that stick together, have family unit together, have friends and community that are tight. You have, I would make the argument, less mental illness. I'm not saying it's not there, but like in America, family breakdown, and again, you can be divorced and be healthy and well. I get it, but I think when society breaks down, when there's less community, less family, less friendships, you get lonely, and that's what really facilitates, I think, a lot of stress and anxiety. And here we go. You're off to doing, not you or I, but people are off to drinking alcohol to try to cope, or doing drugs, or getting into negative stuff. So that's why I asked the question, like, what the divorce rate is, because the divorce rate is, in my mind, generally speaking, the canary in the cave. It's a representation of how tight a culture or society is, or how they're not. And so, but you're saying the stresses are different. But also, you're in a different spot. You're a single woman who's a career woman.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how it is for family, because you don't have any family there, right? I mean,
like I don't have any, and a lot of the people in my circle of friends, most of them are all expats. So I think the stresses and some of the difficulties that expats go through, especially when, like, for example, work is also another stress factor here when it comes to ways of working. So, when you come from a place like New York City where everything is go, 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 very organized, very streamlined, you can sometimes feel like everything's all over the place here, in the working environment. So that, it's there's different types of stress factors for sure.
Yeah.
I think also culturally, and like, in the, I want to say, Islamic culture, I know that, divorcing is not an easy process. This is from what I understand.
Right.
I don't know the divorce percentage rates or anything like that, so I don't want to quote anything.
Right.
I think as a culture, yes, it is definitely something that is not easily obtained. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I think as an expat and maybe being a female, it's just different types of stressors. That's the only thing.
Right. I'm not saying one stress is better or worse than the other. By the way, you can make the argument if you're in a crappy marriage, divorce would actually solve that, and you could be in a marriage and it could be very stressful. So I'm not saying that divorce is necessarily a bad thing, although sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Anyway, so you're mentioning something about you and being an expat, right? That maybe you don't have your own particularly bloodline family there, but I guess it's important for you and others then to really kind of reach out and have your friends be your really friends and family, the same thing almost. So, but you have to make an effort, right? I mean, to get together, and it's not assumed because you are not blood family.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like another thing too. Like, we're all expats, so like we're all making friends like in our late 20s, early 30s, like a new group of friends. Yeah, it is very different. Like, your friends essentially do become your family.
Right.
And another stress factor has also happened too, is because Dubai is such a transit city. Like, there's so many friends that I've had that I only knew for like 3-4 months, got super close to, and then all of a sudden they leave,
which causes the stress, right? Yeah.
Wait, I had this friend and now I don't.
And it's not the same thing, right? When you're like, oh, well, we'll stay connected on Instagram and Facebook. It's not the same connection as breaking bread together, sitting together, hugging, handshake. And I think COVID showed us that this camera stuff is nice, but it's not the best type of connection, especially for friends and family and things like that. So yeah, so you have a different, to your point, you have a different type of stress there that you have to contend with, and how you manage it is important, and not getting into drugs or alcohol or binge watching for 19 hours. That's also not good. So now, was there anything that you wanted to add to that before we move on to our next topic?
No, just about, I think Dubai has been like super great in terms of like mental health. And I like what they do. I like the fact that there are, like, everybody openly talks about it. If you need to go talk to somebody, either whether it's a healer or a therapist or something, it's not really frowned upon. Where I felt like back at home, it was like, oh my God, you're seeing a therapist. Like,
right. I think it also, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you go. Listen,
I definitely think that, I think it's more accepting here.
Okay.
At least, experience.
Well, funny, there's always an exception to the rule, and I would say it is also more accepted in America. However, if you are a cop, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or in the military, you're not allowed to talk about your mental health. You're not allowed to say you went to a therapist. You're not allowed to say you're struggling. I mean, you are, but wink, wink. Then you have to worry about your job. So and everyone gives lip service, but they're not. So that's why you see the highest suicide rates are among doctors, among military, among police, among nurses, because they'd rather off themselves because they're afraid that they may be judged or they're not going to get the help they need, and it's a damn shame. But for those professions, but other people or professions, it's more it's a very marbleized, very intricate, complex thing about mental health. But generally speaking, it's more accepted to go see somebody, and it's okay if you're struggling now versus it was 20 years ago. So that's cool. Dubai's on the same kind of wavelength there. Okay, so let's talk about the next thing: accomplishments in life. Was that me or you? Okay.
No,
all right, you're busy. You're busy over there. You're busy. So Nara, you're busy. You're a busy lady. So I I think I was saying before, watching the U.S. Open, this 19-year-old won the U.S. Open. It's like, well, it's a great accomplishment. And, you watch that and you say to yourself, I haven't accomplished shit in my life, and it's like, wait. We all have accomplishments. All of us have accomplishments that are our Oscars or our U.S. Open, and no one's to say otherwise. So I was saying to myself, what did I accomplish in my life? Let's see. I don't know. I mean, I went to college. I paid for that. I started a business. I was like, yeah. Then it hit me. I was like, you know what? No. One of the greatest accomplishments for me was helping my parents out when they both had cancer. My mother had breast. My father had kidney. So, it was in early 2000s. And back then, before Obamacare or before this is in the early 2000s, if you had a precondition, you were not able to get health insurance. You just go die, unless maybe there's a loophole. And so that's how scary it was. So my mother had no health insurance at the time, and I had my business at the time. I still do. And anyways, my mother's like, I have breast cancer, and it's like, whoa. Like when you hear that, your heart just go, I'm sure we all know friends that have had cancer or family, whatever. So, but this is my mother. So I'm like, shit, like my heart just, and, I don't know about you, but I always say when a loved one has cancer, in some ways it's harder for us with no cancer because we have this stress. We wish we could take your cancer away. We wish we could fight for you, but we can't. We have to sit there and watch you fight. And that's very stressful in its own way because we're not on the front line, so to speak. Anyway, so my mother has that. So I'm like, fuck, she's going to die. Like nobody would insure her back then in the early 2000s. So I was like, what am I going to, man, I don't know. I guess I go into charity and beg. This is supposed to be America, the greatest, strongest, greatest country ever. And I was like, you know what? Then I had an epiphany. I was like, wait, I have a business. I called my insurance agent and I was paying for my own insurance. And I said, hey, could I put my mother under my insurance? Long story short, I had to hire my mother as an employee. I had to pay her had to pay her. She became a triple platinum DJ. Okay. So, but it saved my mother's life. Like I was so pumped up. I was like, wow, like I went from, the darkest of moments to like, I think it's, I see a pinhole of light. I said, Mom, don't worry. You can go into my healthcare and I'm going to hire you and you'll be my employee. And I wanted to cry. I was like, I don't know if she's going to make it out or not, but at least there's some hope, So she got on my insurance and long story short, she beat the cancer. She's fine. It's been over almost 20 years, but it was like, it was so awesome. And I said to myself, I always forget about that accomplishment because I think when we think of accomplishments, we think, what did I do? Me. I made $1 million. I made $1 billion. I have 10 cars. I have 5 boats. Like me. No, but I was like, you know what? Wait a second. That's the greatest accomplishment, I think, when we help others, friends and families and things like that. And so I was like, whoa. But then my mother gets the cancer 8 months later. My father's like, I have kidney cancer. I was like, you got to be kidding me, man.
Hiring you too. Hiring you too.
I was like, Jesus, Mary. I'm like, I don't. But so now,
let me tell you.
What's that?
So when it rains, it pours.
Yeah, man. It was so bad that I wasn't even sad anymore. I was like, let's get it on. Let's do it. So because now I had the roadmap. But the interesting wrinkle is my father is a veteran in the Air Force. So he would qualify for the VA. So my father's like, don't worry. I have the VA. I go, Dad, God bless the VA. Okay. But let's be honest. We send you to the VA. It's probably not going to end well, buddy. So let's just, no, I said, I hired Mom. I go, I'm going to hire you. I go, so you're going to be my DJ. So, of course, whatever. So I hire my 2 parents can barely walk upstairs. Never mind, they're going to be DJs. So I was like, all right. So my father, boom, put under my insurance. And it took a big financial strain on me. And I'm not saying like, oh, look at me, I'm great. But I'm like, this is this is family, right? Like whatever we got to do. So I was like, let's do it. I'm hiring you and you're going to be a DJ. And he beat kidney cancer 20 years now. Fine. So I was like, what? Let's go. So, it was just the greatest thrill of my life to go from death to life and death again to life again. And it was just a wild ride. And it was just, awesome. And so for me, that's my greatest accomplishment. It's not about degrees and money and vacation. And again, God bless degrees and money and vacations. I'm not against that. But for me, that was it. It was like, wow, I just saved 2 lives to the best of my abilities, but it's sad because it's like, my father's a veteran. He should not I should not have to have that conversation with him to say, yeah, Dad, you don't want to go to the VA. We should say, no, go to the VA. It's the best of the best. Our vets don't get taken care of. It's a friggin' really a shanda. It's a shame. And so no problem. Hold my beer. I got this. So that was that. But that was my greatest accomplishment for me. Now I know I went long-winded here, but anyways, my point is helping family out, I think is oftentimes a friend. So what about you, Narek? What was one of an accomplishment that you like for yourself or for your family or friends? Or
Yeah, so I personally believe that we all have different accomplishments in different parts of our lives, at different parts of our lives. So, maybe my accomplishment 10 years ago was my biggest accomplishment, but now has changed.
Right.
So currently, at the current moment, I can say that in the past span of 5 years, I think my biggest accomplishment has definitely been the courage, my personal courage to kind of step outside my box and to go and explore. I mentioned this in the
first episode with us, yeah.
Episode that we had. So
that's big, by the way. That's big.
It was really big for me because it was the first time I ever left home. It was the first, like, home meaning the United States. So, we know like a lot of people that don't even
go out of their town.
Yeah. So for me, it was like a huge accomplishment, going into like a new country, new territory, something I had no idea anything about, didn't know the language, knew the food because it's very close to the Armenian culture when it comes in terms of food. But didn't know anything. And I think I didn't realize how big of an accomplishment it has been until most recently. And I think that's because I'm now like, next month I'm actually repatriating like back to the United States.
What? I gotta bring this down here. Hold on. All right. What? Now wait. Now are we gonna see you in the 07010?
Yeah, you're gonna see me in the 201. So you're gonna see me in the 07010 for sure. Okay. So yeah, yeah, big. It's huge. Yeah,
Dubai's loss is Jersey's gain.
I know.
But you know what? You have a greater appreciation, right? Of Dubai. You have a greater appreciation of this earth, America. And by the way, I want to say, like, what you did, and that's why I had you on the show the first time. I mean, leaving everything you know to go to Dubai, not Canada, not Mexico, Dubai. I mean, that's around the earth. It's an amazing accomplishment of bravery. I don't know that I could do that, honestly. But I do want to say, like, I don't want people to think, like, if they hear my story, your story, like, again, if somebody's big accomplishment is going to the next town over and that's hard for you, then you did it. Congratulations. That's an accomplishment, So I don't, accomplishments are relative to who we are, so, but yeah, I mean, back to you. I mean, so how are you feeling? I mean, do you feel, I'm sure you're going to have like a bittersweet, right?
Yeah. So it's actually scary because now you would think that repatriating back to the US, my home country, my hometown is like easy, but it's totally not. It's not easy.
You're a foreigner, really.
Yeah, I have to. I mean, I thank God I saw my parents there, so I'm gonna, move back in with my parents for a little bit. But it's not easy. Like, I'm doing everything here by myself. I'm packing up an apartment and packing up my clothes. I'm trying to close out things with work. I'm trying to close out things with banks and, with my car, with my lease and this and that. So it is, to be honest, I think it may be not a little bit harder, but it has its different like stress factors. If you want to say, when I moved to Dubai, yeah, I didn't know anything about it. But I just packed a suitcase full of clothes and moved here.
And also, you were a lot younger, different mindset back then. You're coming back to America, really a different person.
For sure, I'm a very different person. Like, sometimes I'm scared. I worry and I'm scared if I'm like. I just feel like sometimes I might not have anything in common with my friends that I had growing up.
And by the way, you probably won't. Not because you went to Dubai, but because, like me too, a lot of our friends are married with kids and stuff like that. And, you don't have that situation, neither do I. But it doesn't mean that you can't still reconnect with friends. But the structures of the friendships are different. And even family too, right? I mean, your parents are at a different stage of their life now and family that you have. Yeah, so it is interesting. but it's
Mhm.
exciting. It's a way to, wow, we're going
Yeah.
to reconnect and learn about people again. So in a weird way, it's kind of like you're going to Dubai inversely. It's like you're going back, you're going to another country again, but America, yeah, it's weird. So
Yeah, it's crazy. And like to the point of like mental health, it's you know, like I had my own like thing going on here, you know what I mean? Like now I have to go back home and it's like, am I gonna find a yoga studio? Am I gonna find like a meditation, like a
now,
healer, find
now
sound.
Bergen County, trust me, every other corner, there's Reiki, there's yoga, wait till you get back. Everybody's I'm doing yoga. I mean, come on, you're not gonna have a problem there, but you don't even know. Like, wait, the whole Bergen County is, you know, which is a good thing. But
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it definitely has its like different stress factors. So now it's like, okay, like that was my accomplishment 5 years ago. And now it's like, okay, now me repatriating, like, you know, me finding a job back in New York City has now been my biggest accomplishment, I want to say, over the last like 2 months, you know. I'm working for a great company. I start next month. So until then, I'm not gonna say who it is, but
yeah, it's fine. Whatever. You have your personal life. Yeah.
yeah. So like, you know, I found a job like all on my own without any networks, without any connections.
Right.
Um, I I can truly, I was like, wow, like it made me believe in myself again, you know, it made
100%.
me like, oh my God, this is great. Like, I don't think I've ever felt this sort um, of like proud accomplishment
Yeah.
since I don't even know. It's been like a really long time, last
Right.
couple of years, especially in my career, you know.
Right.
Um,
That's
I
awesome.
felt, yeah, I felt like, especially in Dubai with my career, like it kind of went in a whole different direction. And now it's like, okay, now this is my accomplishment, like career wise, you know?
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, so my biggest accomplishment 5 years ago, moving here, now over the last 2 months has now been finding a job back at home,
Yeah.
moving back.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's going to be. So maybe in like a month or two, we can have like another catch up.
Yeah. Now we'll talk before a month or two, but
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I think that's awesome. And you know, so many men and women are, again, we always look, I think everything's a team effort, right? I don't want to dissuade people from working with others and having partnerships, or, you know, we all need people, right, in our lives, but there's something refreshing that, you know, you are, you as you just alluded to and explained, you did it. You got up on your feet. You fought through fear. You made your life. No one handed it to you, you know, and that's amazing. And that's exhilarating. And you're bulletproof now, you know, been there, done that. I can do it again and again and again. And so many young people, I say young, you know, but so many men and women can't do or don't want to do what you have done because they're scared, not because they can't, but I'm going through a list of people in my mind that, you know, yeah, they are so dependent on that other person or people for just basic stuff. They don't know how to change a tire, or they don't know how to find a job on their own, or they don't know how to live alone. They don't know how to cook for themselves. They don't know how to advocate for themselves. They don't know how to, you know, manage their own finances and all these things. And so hearing what you're saying, it's a motivation, I think, for many men and women. I think especially young women to say, wow, you know, I can do this. Just, do you want to do this though? And it's scary, but you can do it.
And I think one of the biggest things as well is that a lot of times, and I know this happened to me, and I think this is why this is such a big accomplishment for me, is because sometimes you just get knocked down constantly, constantly, and you're always just thinking like, man, am I ever going to give up? Like, get up again, you know? And I think when you finally do, it's like, holy crap, like I did it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to get like emotional because
grades. Come on, I want to be like Barbara Walters and make you cry.
No. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's big. You know, a lot of people be like, oh, like she's moving back to the U.S. easy breezy, and it's like, no,
it's not. Yeah, especially because you didn't leave for 2 months. You left for how many years? I mean,
5 years.
Yeah, I mean that's a long chunk of someone's life. You know, 5 years is not 5 months. It's not 5 days. Yeah, so you coming back, I also would say you have to be careful because, you know, you're coming in with so much gusto and so much you're self-sufficient, and you're like, you know, a hot fireball just barreling down on, you know, like a meteorite on the earth. But now you're going to have to pull it back a little because, yeah, you have to deal with family, right? And now you have to kind of be a little bit more gentle and not, I got this out of my way. Nah, you know, like you're going to have to probably pull it back a little bit and all these different things that you're going to learn a new set of skills, you know. And my point is we never stop learning until we die. So we're always learning. You hope you're always learning, but.
Yeah, no, I definitely believe in that. And obviously, like, family dynamics also changes over the last 5 years. Like, friend dynamics change. You know, I have a relationship here. I'm leaving that, but not behind, but you know, like that's also something that I'm kind of like.
It's a tough thing to talk about, right?
Yeah, it's a lot going on, you know, and
it's your life. Yeah, you're leaving that life now.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's all going to work out. You know, it'll all work out. I'm not saying that to try to.
No, I'm confident it will. Like,
it will.
Time it'll work out again.
Right. You know, and it's going to work out, not because I don't believe in fate and magical fairy dust, but it's going to work out because Narak is going to make it work out, you know?
Make it work.
Yeah. And I mean, make it work like you're going to know when to hold, you're going to know when to fold, you're going to know when to step forward, you're going to know when to step back, you know, and that's making it work. You're going to make it work. It's not some magical fairy dust, you know, so it'll work out, you know, and yeah, a lot of beautiful things will keep happening. And like you said, there'll be ups and downs and that's life, but you're on. That's awesome. So I'm excited for you. We gotta have a big parade for you. A big parade.
We go caroling like we used to.
Oh, geez. Yeah, we did that. We actually have done that every year. Except for last year, I don't think we did it. But yeah, we've done it. We kept that tradition going for years. We did. So I dress up as Santa now, and another guy, Mike, does too. And so we go to different towns and make appearances. Anyways, but. We almost got assaulted by a bum. This dude came out of this was in your hometown, actually. We're like, yeah, you know, merry and singing. And all of a sudden this dude out of nowhere just like stops us on Anderson. And, you know, anyways, thank God Santas didn't have to get into a confrontation, but blah, blah, blah. So yeah, caroling. Right. But yeah, you're about to get acclimated to, 2-degree weather, 2 feet of snow.
It's not, I'm telling you, it's like people might think it's easy, but it is definitely not. Like, you know, there's a lot of services here in Dubai that like we have that, you know, we don't really have in the US. So it's like, you know, getting used to all of that. And yeah, like it's just like a lot. It's like, and I get used to like living back at home with mom and dad.
Yeah, for a hot minute, but yeah, but you're right. But you know, it is what it is, and you know what? It's a good thing to do too. I think because you know our parents are not getting younger. They're you know, so this is a sweet moment for you to be with your parents because you'll move out whenever that is. But yeah, so enjoy that. You know, enjoy being annoyed by them. Enjoy having an argument because those moments will be gone. You know, eventually. So I'm not to be down on it, but
no. I mean, I'm a realist. Like I know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like yeah.
But all the more reason to enjoy the argument. All the more reason to enjoy the annoyances because that's what I'm saying. You know, it's all good things. You know, and you're going to rekindle old friendships again and find new friends. You know, it's going to be amazing. Another amazing chapter to your life. You know, so I'm pumped up for you. All right, yeah, and thank you for coming on Wellness Week as always. And so now I can bug you more and be like, dude, we know you're in Jersey, so just show up on the show now, okay? So don't tell me there's some time frame thing. What's that?
You could do like an in-person thing, you know?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Yeah, I prefer those, and I've done a lot of those too. I mean, I do the via satellite thing with a couple other people, but yeah, I'd much rather be in person. And so I got some things in the works, like remote locations at different places. So we'll see. My mind is always, you know, planning a new thing. But yeah, no, I'm glad to have you back on the show here. Glad to hear that you're coming back to, you know, America. Y'all get it done. And and I'm glad that you have Dubai as part of your life. It's an amazing country, and you know. And I'm sure you made a lot of bonds there that will last your whole life, you know. So, but all right, Narak. So, thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And don't forget my high tech editing here. Like and subscribe, people. Like and subscribe. Okay. So, right. And tell a friend, tell a family. But Narak, thank you as always. And we'll catch you on the rebound. Everybody, I'm signing off.